We are live, and today in the podcast Café com Embarcados, we have a very special episode. We welcome Eric Pan, CEO of Seed Studio, to talk about the journey from prototype to production. Join us as co-host is Professor Marcelo Rovai, a longtime contributor of embedded systems and IoT community here in Brazil. In just a minute, our guest will be joining us this stream.
Thank you, Thiago. This is an amazing day. I'm truly excited about this episode. It's a real honor to have Eric from Seed Studio with us. As we know, Seed has been a key player in the global maker and hardware manufacturing scene. And of course, it's always a pleasure to welcome Professor Marcelo Rovai. His expertise, especially in AI, always adds incredible depth to the conversation, okay? And for me, as a maker, this conversation will be very special. I'm a big fan of Seed's products, and for me, it was amazing being Eric say about Seed history here. And I would like to say a big thank you to everyone join us live, the guys here in the chat. And guys, let us know in the chat where you are turning from. And don't hesitate to send us your question during the stream. You can send questions in Portuguese, okay, and in English to our guests. And stick around, enjoy this special edition of Café com Embarcados with us.
Thank you, Fabio. Before we begin, I'd like to briefly introduce about Embarcados. I'm going to share my screen. Just a minute here. Yes. And we are a leading Brazilian platform dedicated to embedded systems and the Internet of Things, IoT. So since 2007 in Brazil, we've been connecting engineers, developers, researchers, enthusiasts, professors through a highly qualified technical content, much of which is created by the community of self. Engineers, technicians send us articles and we publish on the website. Our platform features articles, tutorials, news, and project insights covering everything from microcontrollers and real-time systems to connectivity, AI in the edge, and industrial IoT. In addition to our online presence, we also host in-person and virtual events across Brazil. We did, I think, 34 events till this date, creating space for learning, networking, and collaboration. We also offer specialized online training programs to help professionals in their careers stay updated and build expertise in the key areas of embedded development. We invite you to explore www.embarcados.com.br. We publish every day articles from the community, and we invite you to participate and become part of this growing community. Fabio, how about we say good evening to everyone that joined us on the chat?
Of course. Let me see who is joining us today here in the chat. Here's our audience. Eduardo, welcome. Good evening, Eduardo. André Luiz, welcome. Rafael, welcome. Felipe Cavalcante, good evening. Welcome. André Araújo.
André.
Welcome, André. Adriano.
Adriano.
Good night.
Rodrigo,
good evening. And
Kingsley. Hello, Kingsley.
Here. And Roderval also here. Guys, send your questions here in Portuguese or English. Don't worry about the language, but you can send always question for our guests. Okay, Thiago, shall we begin?
Okay, Fabio. Let me introduce the guests. So Eric Pan, CEO at Seed Studio, and Marcelo Rovai, professor at Unifei. Thank you for your time and for being here tonight or this morning. Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, let's start the conversation. Eric, please give me a brief introduction of yourself and about Seed Studio to our audience, please.
Sure, my pleasure. Very excited to be here. I'm Eric Pan, founder of City Studio. So I'm a maker myself. 16 years ago, we're trying to do something for more makers. Because I myself is embedded engineer. I've been doing a lot of system designs, competitions during my university. And I graduated joined Intel to design chipsets. And I found it's a bit too boring. Then we move on to do something where I want to start my company. Then I found out the maker world is so frightening, exciting for me, because I see the designers, everybody is trying to use my professional training results to do something for themselves. So I'm kind of like when I was a child, first time I see the computer. So if we can give the embedded system to more people, that's really powerful. And that's something I can totally do. That's where we started City Studio. Then nothing has changed too much. We keep cooking the latest technologies into modules, into reference designs, make them open source. So give it out to the global makers. I think our key mission until today has remained unchanged, is we make technologies more accessible. And in the beginning, it was very much about Arduino, sensors, peripherals, so you can make your prototype. We talk a lot about product possibilities, but now it's more about productivity. How can we really bring something into industries? How can we enable more solutions to the global makers? So that's the shortest version of our story. Happy to share more in this session.
Yes, thank you very much. It was amazing. And the CD Science 2008, you opened CD?
Yep.
The year. Very good. A long time in the market. Okay,
yep.
Let's continue.
Thank you very much for your time, Eric, and also for your time, Marcelo. Marcelo, please give us a brief introduction of yourself and what your activities on the university also.
Well, first of all, I'm also a maker. I'm a maker myself. I love it. And that was, as you guys, as Fabio comment, I also knew about CD as a maker, buying stuff and putting together, etc. But different from Eric, I never thought about create a company. But I said, well, because I was doing a lot of things, I started to think how not to share this with people. So I started to write tutorials. I create a portal in Brazil. It was mjrobot.org. And after that, I started to Hackster. But, the good thing was during the pandemic time, I meet several good guys like a Professor Vijay in Harvard, like a Marco Zanaro in ICTP in Italy, people from Unifei, Jose Alberto, and others. And we start to discuss about, learning of the embedded machine learning, about TNML. And so we decide, why not to have a course in Brazil? So we start in 2021, the first embedded machine learning course in, let's say, in Latin America, after Harvard. Harvard was for graduate students, and here in Brazil was an undergrad. And we have 6 or 7 times the course. We have 65 students from undergrad engineering students in our actual course. So it's very, very nice. So people are learning about embedded device, making projects. We have students from the master course. I have a student from the PhD course at the university doing projects with embedded machine learning. So that was my dedication today, is 100% to embedded machine learning, what we call TNML and Edge AI. I also working with like Raspberries, running small models on that, and but focus in education. My goal is developing project, write about that, giving courses, and participating in universities, congress, etc. So my focus is education.
Thank you very much, Marcelo.
In the Global South.
Very good.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Using technology from the north, but nowadays, I mean, I'm very proud to be also a Global South as Eric in China. But nowadays we're more and more and more, learning from China, and also teaching the guys from the old north.
I think you're too humble to that. what we're trying to do is to learn from whatever you are using it for and trying to come up with the right thing.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Fantastic. Let's go start here with some questions. We have a lot of questions here, and we asking first for Eric, the first one. I'll put Eric here to answer. Eric, you said some about the start of the Seed Studio, but now we can talk more deeply. What inspired you to found Seed Studio, and how did you turn a personal project into a global open hardware company?
Okay, I think it was a very natural decision because I quitted my job and I'm trying to find something to do and trying all kinds of things. And I interviewed many companies and the short time working with them for a while. Then I found, okay, that's not the job I wanted. So I tried to create a job for myself, which is the beginning of Seed. It's very naturally, okay, why don't we do that? If we can survive, let's enjoy it. So we've survived until today. And I think that's about everything of the reason. And it was a good time. It was the beginning of the maker movement. There's nobody doing that in China. There is Parfum, there was Adafruit. And okay, they are the cousins and like my teachers. I learn from them and trying to do something innovative, trying to do something different, trying to do something like for Chinese users as well, then expanding to the global users. And I think it's also about the space because I was in Beijing when I started the Seed, then I moved to Shenzhen, which is like I'm a chef going into the supermarket or even go to the farm. I see all the possibilities. We see the resources. So what I need to do is to understand the resource, understand demands, and come up with the right product in a very agile way because we don't have a huge investment. We don't target to be a unicorn. We just want to be the part of the community. So very organically, we try to harvest from the supply and open source it. So I think it's everything Seed has been growing until today is very organic. And the start, it was very much kind of coincidence, but it's kind of this destiny to do that because I have no other better options to survive. That this is the best thing I can think of.
Excellent.
I have one question for you, Eric. What was the first project do you released it here in Sidu? Do you remember?
The first yeah, of course. The first project was accelerometer. It's like ADX 360 for add-on for Arduino, so you can use it to detect movements.
Wow, very good. Very good. Thank you very much.
Excellent, Eric. What were the biggest challenges Seed faced in scaling from prototype to mass production, particularly within the context of maker movement?
I think it's a big topic and it's a huge barrier for a lot of the majority of the makers. I think now we have a massive volume of makers all over the world, and it does not require you have a very big diploma. You don't require you have big name. Everybody can build something if you have a computer, a little controller board. But I think the barrier is whenever you finish a very exciting prototype, a good demo, a good proof of concept, then how to move on. Scaling are usually a killer for a lot of inspirations, and it's much easier for us. But I think it's a lot about the communications. The makers or the startups usually don't know how difficult it is. They don't see the whole process. So it's like you have to cook according to the facilities. You can imagine even before 3D printings, if you don't have a 3D printer in your house, it's very difficult to design something, validate, and come back with a new designs because you are not familiar with the process of making it. I think it's the same applies to other like creations. You have to ask someone else. You might not know well. They might not understand you well. to do exactly what you want, and using their machines, their processes that you don't know. So I think the scaling is back to the core, is about understanding each other, understanding the process, and the process has to understand your products. And you have to tune your creations accordingly to that. So we have been doing some workshops in some conferences or in intern trainings. I think you can very easily repeat that. You take out a piece of paper, you're trying to make something for yourself, then document it. Give the document and a sample to someone else. Ask them to repeat for 10 times. So the result might be very different. There might be a lot of unexpected errors because we have a lot of information loss during the process. So this might be too abstract, but try with your papers and you will see how difficult it was to scale. And if it goes into other people's usages, it's another chance is that your documentations, your user experience, if you have some design background, you know what I'm saying. That I was not like I was saying that we learn a lot from Marcelo as well, because users teach us what's needed for the product. Users teach us, okay, you should improve all these details, because for our engineers, for our product managers, we sit in Shenzhen in our office, we cannot know all the details. We have to talk with our customers to make it right. So I definitely think I'm not far from understanding enough Brazil market, because I was not there. I am not even there yet. So how can I understand the market well? There's a long gap, and let's start to shorten it. And the customers in the States are very different. The customers from Japan, very different from Brazil. Now people have to squeeze themselves, adjust themselves to something, which is not 100% fit. But if we have more people building stuff according to their needs, according to the local capability and supplies, it's going to be much more fitting into the scenarios and a lot more efficient.
Okay. I just remember 2015, 2016. I think Marcelo also remembers the Instructables in United States website that publish everything for all sorts of subjects that people did with electronics by themselves, and they create tutorials about gardening and home automation and all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah, I started writing from the Instructables. I have millions of views in several of the projects that I did, including using CD Studio devices. Because as Eric said, one thing that I like about when I saw what the company had accomplished, first of all, they have growth a lot, but they continue with the same maker spirit. You know, you can talk with the people. You enter in their website. You make questions. People ask you. You know, when they saw that, when I, for example, several stuff that I did discussing with the guys, this is very good, Professor Marcelo. So they put in there. Look here. You look. This is an example. Talking about the project, I mean, all they have developed with the growth, the growth connectors. It's so easy to make connections. To go another step in the prototype. We usually, we do some projects, we start with the proto boards and so on, but you can do here. But if you go a little bit another level, let's go to the growth. So it's more, let's say, professional, the connections. You can also really use that and test that before you define your final project, etc. So this is something very good about Seed. You have products that go from the development to the prototype, and after very professional equipments. We have equipments nowadays. For example, in one of the highest mountains in the south of Brazil, we have a environmental station from Seed that was developed by Professor José Alberto at the Unifei, my university. Is there, and by LoRa, they distribute for a lot of a region in the Paraíba Valley. I mean, So the city products are in the top of the mountain in the Mantiqueira, between São Paulo and Minas Gerais. Eric should come to Brazil and visit there.
Looking forward to that.
Sure.
So, we have a big series of IoT into the wild trial from LoRa, from all the various stations, sensors. One reason is we want to see what's out of the lab. We want to encourage and enjoining the makers to go explore the frontier of the IoT world, which is in the wild.
That's fantastic. Very good. This.
It was a programming Hackster, IoT to the wild. I remember this name on Hackster. Okay. And let's go. Let's continue here. Let me see the next question. Here. Let's remember something. Looking back since 2008, Eric. How has City Studio contributed to the evolution of the maker movement in China and worldwide? And which milestones or initiatives do you consider most impactful? I remember I saw a lot of partnership Siege with other companies, maybe with some Shield, some Groove, and maybe this is one of the impact. But can you say, Eric, please?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. I think the maker movement in China started a bit early. It's in 2006. We see the first group of designers who is doing artists who do interactive installations. They start to use Arduino. They start to try to do some installations which is movable, interactable. So in 2008, that's why I created Cities. We see an installation, see an exhibition with all this kind of installations. And I was so moved. Okay, you are artists. You can do something with electronics. That's amazing. And because which means the technology has been much easier than before. I used 3 years to really master the microcontrollers during my university. But these are artist students. Then I move on to, okay, how can we do more to you guys? Then we have City Studio. But we're still lonely in Shenzhen. Nobody knows about makers. Nobody think, okay, what are you guys doing? You are doing, I have to explain, we are doing education. So then we have the maker space. We saw the first maker space in Shanghai, Xinchejian. I said, okay, why don't we make one in Shenzhen? Then we made one using our old office. There's not many people coming, but sometimes there are people showing up. There's people coming to Shenzhen to get things made. Some of them are makers. Like was a very big group of makers coming in 2009 or 10. Yeah. So we start to give more spaces, people come in, attract people, and then it becomes the source of the culture, because people sharing what they like and attracting more people from the community in China. It was very slow. It's just like underground until 2013. What happened is during that time, the media from the United States looking at China, China looking at the United States. Okay, you guys are all talking about innovations from grassroots. And they have name, they talk together as makers. So they come to Shenzhen to us and trying to understand what we do. We're happy to share what we do. We're happy to invite more people to us, to the maker fairs, to the maker spaces. And a lot of people until today, they came to me or during my interview, there was just a child who was 10 years ago going to maker fairs, now becoming fully trained product managers inside a big organization. So that was kind of the result of this culture. But what we do is we keep contributing to it, either by promoting it to media, supporting the maker fairs, maker spaces in China and in other places, because we are not only, I think 90% of our customers from overseas, so we travel a lot. So and also trying to introduce people of Shenzhen. Like people ask, where are you come from? Like 10 years ago, I said, we're coming from Shenzhen. They will, where is Shenzhen? I have to explain that, okay, we are in north of Hong Kong. We are a whole city of makerspace. It's true that you come to Shenzhen, you don't need to find a makerspace to make things. The whole city is a makerspace. You go to the factories, you talk to the engineers, get things made, and come. And our space is more like base camp. So that kind of interaction happens a lot, and it, like very naturally forms people. Okay, I first see the possibilities, like what I found during the exhibition. I see possibilities. I listen to people talk, like we did talking today, to get a familiar of the whole thing. Then, because maker movement is very no barrier to entry, you can do it by yourself. Look at some YouTube tutorial to start, or you go to a local event space and to join other people to share it. Mm-hmm. I think the spirit of the culture is very naturally flowing. We are just giving a container to contain it and to show to more people. And I think that's a very natural process until 2014. I think that's the peak in United States and in China both, because in the States, the President Obama had the Maker Fair in White House, and in China we have the Prime Minister Li Keqiang came over to our makerspace, stayed there for an hour, and pushed that to nationwide movement called the culture, the maker movement. Essentially, it was not about maker. It was about we encouraging more people to be innovative, encouraging more people to create their own business. But of course, one essential part is how can we use technologies for that, for a variety of industries. So we're very actively participating in that. Before that, there was like 2 or 3 makerspace in Shenzhen. After that was about like 300 at least. Then that's impacted to the peak, and the COVID is impact to the bottom. There's people cannot move. How could makerspaces survive? And many of it has gone away. Many of them has died. But I think the true makers survived. The makers gonna make. They're still making something. They're now. Every maker is talking about AI. Every maker is talking about robotics. How to embed them into their system. So that's why we were interested and excited in tiny machine learnings. And we always try to be the first to bring something new to the maker community. I think that's part of our contribution. We're trying to make it easy. We try to eat the hard bone ourselves and try to make it more crispy.
And I have a question to Marcelo to complement your answer. With machine learning and AI, the maker movement go to another level, right?
Yeah.
Is it true?
No, yes. But it's exactly as Eric said. I mean, what is going on? It's always been a movement, correct? I mean, the maker movement started, and people started doing what? Oh, let's take a microprocessor, reading a sensor, actuating something in a wheel or some movement or whatever, but something, programmatic. You collect the data from the sensors, you process that, and you have a result. So suddenly, a lot of people was working in artificial intelligence, machine learning, but the big machines, TensorFlow, suddenly, 6 years ago, people started to thinking about how about to shrink those models, put inside very small devices like a SHAO, for example, a SHAO ESP32 SC3, for example, that you can have I can use thousands of images or hours of sounds, process everything, create a model, shrink this model, put in a very, very, very small device. And now we are collecting data from a sensors, but not enter in a kind of a programmatic way. No, we go to, using a kind of in another way, really using neural networks to do an inference. What do you go to the end? We saw. I mean, what I was very proud, and also Eric, a couple of months ago, Science magazine, one of the top science magazine in the world, make several pages talking about what's going on. Exactly your question, Thiago. What's going on with the machine learning shrink to the small devices? They open the article with a shall device, a shall sense, and we start to talk. And they talk about what's going on with the machine learning being shrinking, go to a small device like the shall family devices, And this is a change in the world. So they list several projects that are being done in Africa. We have been doing here in Brazil. They list some projects that we did in Itajubá, Minas Gerais, at the Unifei University. So I think both of us became very proud. I became proud about the project university. I know that Eric in his stuff became very proud at Siga because we appear in the magazine. So this is the next level. And it's moving again. Now it's moving again. Because now, for example, look, I'm working all day here with this city device. Is another step when you have, neuroprocessor by hardware inside the device. Because, for example, next month I will be in Canada with Professor Vijay and City Studio, and we will present is a congress for engineering professors. And we'll talk about how to teach embedded machine learning and edge AI for the engineering professors in that congress. It was a worldwide congress. And we'll use an example. Vijay will talk about his book, that we are working together. Yes, the cutting AI's downside. Oh, this is a fantastic. It's a science magazine. Science magazine. You have the cover below, and that's it. And now we are in the second stage. And going to the third stage, I published something together with some city engineers. We are working with the Raspberries, for example, running small models here. So I have my Raspberry, for example, collecting data from sensors. I have the Raspberry. I'm collecting data from sensors and going to actuators using small language models. So exactly now is a third step. So the makers must be open for that,
Okay, thank you very much, Marcelo, and congratulations for your work. Eric, from your perspective, what are the next big frontiers and that makers and hardware developers should pay attention in the coming years? I think Marcelo already said about machine learning, but we have a lot of stuff to come, right? Always connected and other features, right?
Yeah. I think the big topic we are looking at is how to add AI into almost anything. So because AI is becoming so small and so easy to use, and it's going to be much easier in the future with large language models, and then you can program your own models in a very easy way. So how can we use these AI models to some real projects? I think this is like Arduino moment. In the beginning, okay, we spend 5 minutes, or 1 hour, we can light up our LED. So that's exciting. Then people think of doing it with all kinds of applications. And I think the tiny machine learning is already light on. Then no matter wherever you are, you can look at your local demands or applications to really deploy that. I think this is it's going to be a huge thing. And this might be even bigger than the beginning of Arduino. It's going to be AI by everyone and for everywhere. You don't wait until a big company or a top PhD to do some AI for you. It's in your hand. It's pervasive, and it's you don't need to start from scratch. You can start maybe from a pair of glasses and change the legs with some sensors, and you can do different things. You can turn yourself into cyberpunk out of nowhere with all the existing things. I think that's the most exciting thing we look at. And it's not a replacement for what we have done before or you have done before. It's more like add-on. So you have your IoT devices, you have gardening devices already now. How about use some AI sensors to tell if the plants are too dry or there's some diseases happening? How do we collaboratively have the result to prevent some kind of infections? And how can we contribute the data back to real scientists or biologists so they can have more samples from all over the world to generate some understandings of this species or some climate change? I think this is becoming participatory, like everybody can join the science research, and the tools we have today are much more useful than just to express yourself. It's a collaborated research ongoing, and it's happening. And also, of course, it's not just everybody contributing to something, and it's also to getting something from all over the world to your local demands. I think this is going to be a lot more exciting. We don't have that answer in Shenzhen. Shenzhen is too unique. Shenzhen is too much about building something, but we don't have the scenarios. But going to Brazil, going to Amazon, going to all the real applications with new challenges, I think that's a real reason. And AI is giving, I think, one step, ahead to push it to really useful.
Amazing. Marcelo?
So I'm very... Yeah.
No, I mean, this is a thing. AI is changing everything, but you need to know how to use the AI. I talk to my students. It's amazing because it always some people are worried about AI. Students are copying paste things, etc. No. But the point is,
Marcelo, please.
You are looking at me? Yes. Okay. No. So I mean, the point is, when I using a developing or using a language model, for example, nowadays, I try to have a small models and running those models in small devices, correct, and interact with the word. But the key word for all of that is openness. So the hardware should be open, the software should be open. We are talking about in a world that is a very good opportunity to be here. One of the most important guys from this area, that's Eric, is a CEO of a very important company, and I hope that he continues with the philosophy they have today, a openness of the hardware, puts things available to everyone to replicate, and I think everyone will learn and win for that. When you do something, and I learn from something, okay, people put open, I can learn from that, from the hardware, software, and everything, and they create something, but I put this available for people will return to me because people will go more and more. So that's the point. I think, as Eric said, I mean, we should continue to work as a collaborative way, using every technology that you have for making a better world. When we talk a lot in our group, and Eric is also part of this group with the people from ICTP and UNESCO, etc. We work for AI for good. How we can use all this technology for good things. That's the point. 4 weeks ago, I was in Malawi in Africa, teaching students TNML. You can imagine how in a country where 90% of the population doesn't have electricity. We were in university, Marcos Zenaro, I was there, and we are talking to students, and if you can imagine, guys, how bright the students from Malawi University are. So I'm so happy to be there, It's there's no payment that can, I all my time as executive, as a vice president, I never received the same thing that I received teaching those students in Malawi last month.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's the way. We make a better world.
They are for goods.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you. Let's continue. Now the question is to Marcelo. Marcelo, you are a strong advocate for Edge AI and have been developing many applications in this area. But how has CD Studio helped drive progress in this field for you?
Well, let's go from below. For example, as I said before, I started using the basic processors, like the simple shells and processors, microprocessors to do normal maker stuff. But when we started with HTML, we have discussed it with them. So they launched, for example, a device with that was the first Sense, but with a Nordic microprocessor. It's a little bit expensive because it's ARM and 4. So suddenly discussing with them, I remember when they put in the old and good Twitter. It's not good anymore, but they used to be very good. I remember people from Seed, from product. I think that was 3 or 4 years ago. No, Eric. So they said, how about to put a camera? So they started to put the prototype of the shawl. We have for example, this guy here that appears in the magazine. Correct. This is the shawl. Okay. This is the shawl ESP32S3. So we start. So they start to talk with the community. How you guys will think about that? You're talking to use the shawl to put this ESP32S3 because it's very new, brand new, very powerful. It's more powerful than the M4 and cheaper. So we started also to discuss with them. No, now, for example, at exactly this moment, we are discussing with the Eric people that put, for example, a kind of this base with the shawl. With emu here, put in a box, to do what? To make a kit. So, for example, people that go to the open machine learning engineering book that we have been developing with Harvard University with the Professor VJ, there we have a lot of stuff, very, very, very deep and very. Professor VJ wrote the great majority of the stuff of the theory of the book. And he invited me to develop the laboratories. So, for example, several labs that I developed based on the shawl. So are there. The shawl, for example, they had camera and microphone. But for example, we need also some of the laboratories is with accelerometers that the shawl doesn't have it. So so I need to assemble it, etc. It's okay for makers, I need to I have my shawl here. I use a solder to go there, etc. But usually people doesn't know about that. The first time that we developed the TNML, Harvard, the team with Arduino, and Arduino made a kind of a kit in a box. I think all you guys know. It's very famous. This kit, it started with that. After Seed developed the WIO terminal, that was fantastic, including we partnership with them. Exactly, that's Vaglov. It's very good for movement, for sound. You have a very good display. You don't have camera, But I usually put a camera because I have the connection, etc. But anyway, for example, we team with people in Ethiopia, and a professor in Ethiopia, Solomon, he got 10 kits from VU that Marcos Zanaro sent to him. He went to several schools in Ethiopia to do that. So I gave the first classes remote from here. I didn't went to Ethiopia, and after that they continued with the laboratory. So in short, what CD helps us a lot is I'm talking about education. Is such kind of small devices and kits that you can easily teach students. They're very cheap. I mean, when you buy those devices, we're talking about a few dollars, $10, $15, and with that, I can develop machine learning inside. I can really use in real projects. We have several. We have papers published at the university with the projects, real projects developed using using Charles. So this is the first step, and for that, I'm very happy as a professor, educator, to have this partnership with the companies like Seed. We also have with Arduinos, and you have with Seed. Those are the main companies that work with us and team with us and workshops, etc. So this is the most important thing that I think. And of course, as I comment, this is one layer of Seed. They have professional products, that you can really go to the field. They say to the wild, when you can prepare. You have have rain and heat, etc. And the good thing is the focus of CD is how I can make these good sensors to go to the field and help to do good things with that. So I think this is okay. I can say that this partnership as educator with the manufacturers like SID, that we hope that could be a lot of companies do the same.
Thank you, Marcelo. And thanks, Eric, to collaborate with Brazilian environment here in the community from Brazil. The professors, students, and also people that likes to make things and can easily buy the boards from seed direct in Brazil in some online shops, right? Robocore, for example, you sell your products there, and there's others stores, right?
Yep.
Thank you very much for this.
No, thank you for having us. And I think there's a lot of thing we can do in Brazil is Shell is a board, is a core module, but you can make a lot of things locally. So to avoid tariff, to make it more fitting, I think that's what we can do with a Brazilian community very soon. We're happy to share how we make devices, how we test them, how we design something in the field for years to survive. That's very challenging. I don't want people to repeat that.
Thank you. And looking ahead from the future, what are the main directions of strategic goals for seed students in the coming years, Eric? And of course, we are from the hardware development team, and we love to know about new products and possibilities too.
Okay, my answer is actually the reverse. Is our strategy, the main strategy for the last few years is how can we make more possibilities into productivity. So seed can only grow when the makers grow, and the makers cannot just grow old. They have to grow more like impactful. They have to create more values. Me too. So we cannot just grow old. We have to enable people to really create something useful. And to do that, there's a lot of upgrading on the products. It's all about training, a lot of workshops to really inspire people. And we like to share more verified solutions in the future. And to do that, we have to go more out of Shenzhen. But of course, we'll come to Shenzhen. We like to set up more useful scenarios to show people and to get more trainings here. But we like to go out more to all over the world to get ourselves more decentralized, to understand the applications, understand demands, to become a user ourselves for real. Like if we do some installations in the wild and to help people, and then we understand, okay, what's missing, and we make it easier so more people can replicate that installations. And also we are inviting more people to contribute back to the community. If you create something, we're helping you to recreate into a product, into a solution that we sell to global wise. And that's happening a lot more. And we have a confidence that this could be the next wave of maker movement. What we have seen today is just a start. It's just like a childhood of the maker movement. I think really powerful is all the makers could be the entrepreneur or solution makers in their field or in their region. So if we go to Amazon, go to a village, like my hometown is the southwest part of China in the very near mountains. There's so many small villages. We go to them, we see they are very much under taken care of. But you don't need a new infrastructure with all the AI, with all the edge devices. You can have equivalent resources for the child there. You can have equivalent connectivity with LoRa, because you can do it by yourself. So I think the more makers could becoming a techsmith. It's like blacksmiths to the local neighborhood. I build something for my aunt, for my uncles, for my friends. I serve them locally, but with global connected technology and creations. I think that's my dream. That's what City is really pushing for the next few years. And AI, robotics, yes, the unicorn, big company will do that. But how about with the same thing, but we do it united, collaboratively, locally. So that's the biggest move. Yep.
Amazing.
Okay.
So that's why I'm insist to have Marcelo joining our conversations, because what Marcelo is doing is really bring this towards the global south and very much in the context of Brazil.
Yeah, and I'm very happy you guys invited me, because I can have the opportunity, to really to always remember, Eric, continues doing this path, please. Openness, open hardware, open software. Let's work together. Open.
Sure.
Very good.
That's in our DNA.
Okay, guys, let's check if there is any message in this chat. Any questions?
Okay.
Let me look here. Heck, the good question. What is the meaning of the 3 E's in the name? Thank you, guys.
There are too many explanations to that. First is intonics, but it's also a bit extra energy. Just name whatever you want.
Okay, it's just for the name, for the. Okay.
It's
Let's
embedded.
see here. Almir asked, City Studio has some kind of ASIC-based product?
Yeah, many of them. Like I think the first like ReSpeaker, we work with Exmors to do the like sound processings, being processings in with the ASIC, and for Guru Vision V2, it's like specialized NPU that for tiny ML accelerations, and we will expect to see more of them. You will see a lot of applications where just okay, you don't need to worry about details. It's just ASIC with embedded firmware. Now it's forming a very simple actions as if it's a module. You just need to worry about API instead of programming.
Okay. Now, Rodrigo is interested about the SP32P before.
Yeah, we are working on it.
Yeah.
The challenge is we want to make it as small as possible as Xiao, but it was too challenging. So we are still working on it. We are trying.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Here.
Yes, there's a comment here. It's a penguin, open source.
It's open, but there's a comment here. Thiago.
Oh, I asked Marco Siriaco to invite Eric to Latinoware. Latinoware is an open source main event in Brazil. It's about open software and open hardware also. So all the community joins once a year in Itaipu. It's Foz do Iguaçu. It's a very beautiful city here in Brazil. So we asked Marco Siriaco, the guy from the Penguin here, to invite you to come to Brazil and to join us in an event. Let's see if it's look at that. It's a good idea. So
no problem. I just need an excuse. I need an excuse to come.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, no more question, but I have one question here, Thiago.
Okay.
Just for the end, I know this kind of product here called SenseCap, Eric. Can you explain more about this device here for our audience? Because I think it's a good device to our country here in some applications. This kind.
Yeah. SenseCap starts from agriculture. Like many years ago, we tried to do some smart agriculture with Microsoft and DJI, and we found out the sensors by that time was not open enough and not good enough. So we made a series of sensors that people can just unbox and use it in the wild. And now it has been developing into full series that can be the core of this idea is it has LoRa, it has battery powered, so it can transmit in long distances. We targeted design is a 10 years battery life without external power and 10 kilometers transmission without any other like repeaters. We're trying to make it $10, but not there yet. So we hope it's going to be an IoT device that people can really use for the applications. It's like
Yes.
what we have been dreamed is how can, because it's difficult to put some modules into the wild, but with the Sunscap, we hope people can put into their forests for forest fire preventions, onto the mountains to understand the rainforest, to use like a tiny machine learning sensors with it to tell if there's interspecies challenges. So there are a lot of applications we are pushing it forwards, but we iterated for a few years now. It's getting more ready to be used, and the weather station is becoming more popular. And we also, this device is open for co-creation. People, if they build some thing, we put it into a proof case and connect to the existing system.
Oh, it's amazing. Amazing product.
Amazing.
And there, Marcelo, there is a weather station here in Brazil.
Yes. No, we use it. I don't know. It's not this one. I think it's a better one. We can discuss with Jose Alberto, is the guy that knows it. But the point is, because it's in a remote area, I think it's 2,000 meters in the highest mountain in the Mantiqueira. And you can have all the from Rio to São Paulo, all the area, and the data goes straight to several farmers, so they have information about the humidity, temperature, pressure, and so on. And that was very, very interesting. It works with the battery, have a solar panel, and etc. So it's based on seed equipment. Was that
Laura?
Yes, Laura. Yes, Laura. Including they got 300 kilometers. I don't know, but it's better not to say the details. I didn't know the details. I mean,
for another episode, we can.
Yeah, we can send you.
Call.
Yeah, but we use professionally there. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Thank you
very much for being here with us in this special edition of Café with Embarcados. And Eric is in the future. Now it's morning of 16th of May on Shenzhen, right? And thank you very much, Eric, for being here with us. So we'd like to hear your final thoughts for the audience of Brazil, please.
Well, there's too many of them. But I think the first thing I need to do is come to Brazil with some kind of excuse from my colleagues. I have to be in Brazil because of something. Why today? Why tomorrow? And then I think let's explore how can we really bring technologies to the meaningful scenarios. And I think there's a lot of things we can do in Brazil. It's a huge country, it's huge populations, and I met many Brazilians, and I love every Brazilian I met. I like every Brazilian I met, so I need to come.
Thank you very much.
By the way, I think I told Marcelo before, I'm a huge fan of Brazilian football.
Oh, now if
Eric is in the future. I'm in the past. I'm 1 hour, behind. I'm in Santiago, Chile. I know the Palmeiras is playing, and I don't know if he's won or not. You guys in Brazil can tell me.
Now our coach is Ancelotti. Now we're going to happen to be 6-time championship on the world. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah. Now Eric. We're going to win again.
Okay.
So,
I'm
Marcelo,
going to be a cheer team. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So Marcelo, you're in the past. Feel free to share your closing remarks as well.
Okay. Well, first of all, to reinforce that Eric should go to Brazil. And one thing that you learn, Eric, is that the Brazilians are, very inventive. We used to say, that people from the NASA should go to Brazil to learn with the people there, because people are very inventive. That's because we have a lot of makers. That's because the community of Embarcados is the biggest in Brazil, because people went there, they put stuff together to solve problems. So you became. I'm sure that you love to be in Brazil. Before to finish, I only to remember the guys that are listening here that for the educational area, we continues working with the openness of everything. And we have been working very hard with the Professor Vijay in Harvard to keep a book about engineering and machine learning where everybody can, free, completely open. You go there, you have, text, you have presentations, videos about everyone at the top, and laboratories. You can go to the labs that I wrote, for example, and go. And I put here in the link to remember. So you can go there and see, for example, how I can use the seed devices, for example, to make object detection, image classification, sound, etc., etc. So I mean, it's my I'm compromised to always continue working in an openness to help people to learn machine learning, and mainly to the edge. I mean, everything offline to solve real world problems.
AR for goods. Thank you very much, Professor Marcelo.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Eric. A pleasure
Thank
to
you.
be with you.
Okay, guys. Eric and Marcelo, thank you very much for being here on our show today. And we hope we can meet soon and talk more about Siga Studio Innovation projects, maybe in some episodes. And of course, thank you very much to everybody who joined us live here today. People sent a lot of questions and comments here. This experience for us, the first episode in English for us.
But not the last. Not the last,
but the first with Siga Studio. Guys, stay connected with Embarcados for more content about the embedded systems, IoT, and innovation. And see you in the next episodes. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you, obrigado. Bye-bye.
Bye, obrigado. Thank you.
Obrigado.